And now let's talk about the extreme Benchrest. This is the main event. This is the one that everyone comes for. Shot at 75 yards during qualifying rounds and what's supposed to be 100 yards in the finals, but I ranged it was at 107 yards this year. So that's really, really challenging. And this is not one that I expected to do particularly well in this year, actually, simply because last year, okay, I made it to finals, which is great, but I didn't place as high as I thought I could. So I had no real expectations this year. I just wanted to kind of rock up and really enjoy it and just do my best and see where I end up. And I ended up doing pretty well. I was way more consistent this year. I think in both my cards I shot at 75 yards. I only had one shot outside the red 8 ring, which is really great. It's way more consistent than last year. And I'd learned a few things from last year as well. For one, I learned that there is a difference between your sighter row and your top rows on the target paper. The wind at the bottom can be slightly different to the wind at the top. So you can't always rely on your sighters. And because of this, my technique changed. I did not wait for the wind to die down before I took my shot. I waited for a consistent wind. I shot a group on the sighter so I could see where the group was. I zeroed for that group, and while the wind was consistent, I rattled off probably 2 rows at a time. So I would shoot a group on the sighters, and if the group was tight, I'd zero the scope quickly and I would put 10 shots on paper as quickly as possible. I think that's where the FX guns with large capacity magazines, shot off bipods and a sandbag really have the advantage, because you have guns out there like those $4,000 Thomas guns on those really heavy, expensive Benchrest setups that just got completely dominated. And it's not because they're bad guns, but it's because it's really not suited to the kind of shooting that you have to do at the extreme, where the wind is changing so quickly. You cannot move quickly between your sighters and your targets, or even from target to target with those setups. With the guns we were using, I was able to just cock and shoot almost like speed silhouette, but at 100 yards, whereas those Benchrest guns that seemed to do very well at 25 meters just did not compete very well at 75 and 100 when it came to the extreme, just because it's such a different discipline. There was not that much wind during the 2 qualifying days, so I think that the scores that were posted from the qualifying rounds were a better representation of how good the shooter was and how good the gun was. So guys like Ted Beer, Erwin Segerman, who placed really high during the qualifying rounds, it's pretty clear that they are very good shooters and that they have very good guns and that they know what they're doing. Finals day though was a completely different beast. When we woke up on the morning of finals day, we went outside and we just saw wind blowing like crazy, and I knew it was going to be tough. And then we went out to the range, and on finals day you've got to draw a number from a hat, which basically determines what lane you're going to be in. And with the wind blowing at 10 to 12 miles an hour, coming over those big berms around the outside of the range, we kind of had a preconceived idea of what lanes were going to be better than others. We thought that the lanes closer to the berms were going to have more turbulent wind, and I was placed in one of those lanes. So I almost wrote off my chances of placing even before the competition started, and perhaps that counted in my favor. I tend to not shoot very well when I'm under pressure, so I was under no pressure. I really did not expect to do well in the finals, and believe it or not, I actually rocked up to the finals half an hour after the speed silhouette with the wrong barrel in my gun, and I had to, within half an hour, I had to switch between 25 caliber barrel to 30 caliber barrel, pull 25 caliber out, put 30 caliber in, adjust the power. And when the buzzer started for the finals of Extreme Benchrest, I was sitting there shooting in the sand, zeroing the 30 caliber barrel. And I quickly discovered that I did not have enough elevation on my turrets to shoot at 100 yards. So I had to ask for an Allen key. I had to adjust my FX no limit rings. I had to put re-zero the scope in the sand, and then I literally proceeded to shoot my whole target card probably in the space of 5 minutes. So as soon as I had some shots on the sighters, I just rattled off my entire target card. I thought the wind was picking up, so I wanted to make the best of the conditions that I thought were good. And then I sat back, thinking that my card was pretty average. And then I looked back and I realized there were guys giving me thumbs up, guys looking through their spotting scopes, giving me thumbs up, and I thought, maybe my score isn't too bad. I then looked at all the rows in the middle of the range where, everyone thought the best lanes would be with the best wind conditions. And I just saw pellet holes all over the place, And that really surprised me, because it suddenly became clear that the lanes that we thought were going to be the best lanes actually weren't the best lanes. And because of this, some of the guys who were the favorites to win the competition really didn't do too well in the finals. It's just, from what I understand, it was impossible to adjust for those wins. So in the end, I got a second place in the Extreme Benchrest, which I'm extremely happy about. I was able to bring home that silver medal. So really happy with that. That's going in my man cave. And Shane Keller from Eggins of Arizona actually placed first with the FX crown. The first 3 places, actually I think the first 4 places in the Extreme Benchrest were all taken with FX guns. The FX crown won the whole event this year, and I can't say that was unexpected. This is a fantastic gun, and it's not just the gun that helps with something like this, but it's the barrels. The crown comes standard with the Smooth Twist X barrel, and the guns that took 2nd and 3rd place also had Smooth Twist X barrels. So if any of you had any doubts about whether the Smooth Twist X barrels can perform or not, you can throw those doubts out the window. And these results were extremely rewarding for me to see for a number of reasons. Firstly, because I used a different barrel between my Speed Silhouette finals, in which I came first, and the Extreme Benchrest, in which I came second. And I think that's testament to the FX Impact and what it can do and what it was designed to do. Being able to switch calibers in half an hour and place in the top 3 in 2 events, there are not many guns that can do that. So that was really special. But secondly, the top places were taken with Smooth Twist X barrels. And the reason that's important to me is because I was somewhat involved in the kind of research and development and testing of these barrels. I spent some time in Sweden at the FX factory earlier this year, was involved in fine-tuning those barrels and the design of those barrels. So to see them perform really made me happy. And the same with the scopes. The 2 scopes that took 1st and 2nd place were the Aztec Emerald scopes. Shane Keller and I, who were number 1 and 2, we co-designed that scope. We had input in, I had input in particular with the reticle. So, are those the best scopes out there at the competition? Absolutely not. There were some beautiful Schmidt & Benders and Night Forces that are heads and tails ahead of the Aztec scopes, but it did prove that the Aztec scopes are capable of winning competitions. So I was very happy with that. So this was a really good competition for me, results aside. I had fun. That's the most important thing. You don't travel halfway across the world just to compete. You want to have fun while you're there. I had lots of fun, and I really enjoyed meeting people who traveled all the way out there just to see me. I really appreciate that you would do that. So I hope to see you guys there next year. You can come out, I'll be there next year, you can come in and see me there. But I do want to give a few thanks to certain people before I leave. Number 1, the guys who made me certain things. There was a guy who made me a leather wallet. There were guys who made me some barbecue sauce. Thank you so much. Thanks to FX for sharing a house with me. I really appreciate that you would, be willing to share space with me and drive me around and host me. I really appreciate that. To Oscar Gillenhammer, thanks for introducing me to the Arnold Palmer. It's changed my life. And lastly, and most importantly, to Robert Buchanan and Eggins of Arizona, not just for organizing such a fantastic event, but for actually enabling me to be there this year. I would not have been able to come if it wasn't for them contributing to my travel costs. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And guys, I hope to see you there next year. It's a fantastic event. It's an opportunity to meet other people in the industry, other YouTubers, other famous people, and just to have a really good time and enjoy yourself. So really hope to see you guys there next year. Thanks for watching.